In this mini tutorial, I'm going to demo the all new Wix Studio. We're going to build a live portfolio site using their data-driven collection. So I'm going to show you how to work with data, display it on the front end, and even show you how to style some of the pages and use some cool features like animations that they have in the all new Wix Studio. Additionally, I'll show you how this is responsive out of the box so you can really get up and running with a portfolio site that's beautiful and easy to manage. If you enjoy this type of video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of our content or the other videos that are going to be a part of this series. Let's dive in and show you how I did this. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to get set up with Wix Studio and set up your first collection, as well as choosing the appropriate theme or template to make sure that you're making it as easy as possible to get started and you're not wasting any unnecessary time. So whenever you create a new site with Wix Studio, you're presented with a couple of options. You can choose from some of their nice pre-built templates, which I would recommend that you check out, or you can choose from a wireframe. We're going to go ahead and go with wireframe here because it gives us the fundamentals of the site, but does not apply any styling elements that leaves the styling totally up to us. The wireframe that we're going to choose here is this advanced portfolio wireframe. They do have some other ones like an e-commerce wireframe, a landing page wireframe. So definitely go check out what wireframes they have. There will be more coming to this as well in the future. Wix Studio is a beta product. It's not even fully released to the public yet. So let's go ahead and choose this advanced portfolio wireframe, and we're just going to go ahead and click edit. It's going to spin up Wix Studio here, which will take just a minute depending on your connection, as it is building this entire site for us in the back end. So let's go ahead and let this spin up. Okay, and here we go. We have our website up. You'll see right out of the box, this site is completely responsive. You actually can see it in different screen sizes. So we can look at it in a tablet view as well as mobile. It looks good on all screen sizes. We can scroll down, see our sample collection data showing here. Everything looks really nice. So I really like how out of the box, these sites are going to be fully responsive. It built a basic site with us that has some placeholders for your business name and logo, a menu that's pre-built in that auto collapses into a hamburger menu on mobile, and many more things like this recent projects area, which is driven by a data collection. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to add some content to the site and show you what that looks like. So on the left-hand panel here, we have these icons, and the one that's just one up from the bottom is called the CMS. And this is really where all the data will live in a data-powered website. CMS just stands for Content Management System. So let's go ahead and add this to our site. When we click add to site, it's going to pop up a module here that gives us a few different options and presets as to what types of content we want to add to our site. So we're going to go ahead and start with a preset and check this out. They have a custom content collection, maybe a team if you're adding information about the team at your company, different projects, my portfolio, and news. And we're going to build a portfolio site today. So let's go ahead and choose my portfolio and add this to our site. It's just super cool. When we click this, it actually not only adds the CMS to our site, but it actually pre-builds pages so that we can take a bunch of shortcuts and not have to build out all these dynamic pages for our portfolio. Plus, as you can see here, it has actually populated a sample portfolio for us so that we can see what this looks like right out of the box. And we're going to go ahead and use this data to work with today so we don't have to populate our own portfolio. As you can see, we have the title of each portfolio item. We have the client name. This would be the client that we worked for to build this site or this example piece of work. We have a description. We have a project main image and a project gallery, as well as description, long description, the order that it shows in, a short description, the year that this project was worked on. And then you also get the sort of slug for this specific project. So this is awesome. It's all showing in our content management system. A few things, since this first video is focused on the CMS, I want to show you some other things that you can do with the CMS before we move on to step 2, which is to getting this info to display and show on our site. So one really nice thing that Wix Studio is doing here is they allow you to create different views of your data. So Right here, we can see all of our data, but imagine if you had a portfolio of 600 different pieces of data. We might want to show all the projects that were in 2022 or 2023 or something like that so that we can better manage our data on the back end. So what I'll do is I'm going to change a couple of these to 2022 just to show you how we can actually create a filter like this. Okay, so I've changed a year on a few different projects to 2022, and then I can just create a new view really easily here. I can call it 2022 projects. Okay. And now that I've created this view, I can actually add a filter to this view, and I can filter by the year and 2022, add the filter. Check this out. Now we're only seeing projects from 2022. If we go back to the default view, we are seeing all of our projects in the collection. So as you can see, this can be really powerful for just managing your data. Maybe you have somebody on your marketing team who only needs to see a specific look at your different collection items. You can create all kinds of different filters and sorts here, all kinds of different views. Really nice way to just slice and dice your data. You can also view your data in a table, which is the view that we're in here. We can see it in a list view, which is just a different look here. We can also see in a gallery, which is more visual. And for a portfolio site like this, that might be super helpful. Another thing worth mentioning here is everything here is drag and drop in visual. You can reorder your columns very easily just by dragging and dropping. You can also add additional fields. There's all kinds of data fields that you can add, from text to image to Boolean to rich text to reference and multi-reference. Some of this can get quite complex, but you can reference other collections, other tables, and bind data visually through different table connections, which is super cool. Even video, audio. So if you had like a video portfolio type of site, you can easily do that here. You can add tags, arrays, objects. So you can go pretty deep. I just want to show you some of the things that you can do here. There's also different validations and default values that you can set. You can also easily search your entire CMS right here through the search function. So that's really nice. A couple other things just to touch on with the CMS part of this mini tutorial are the actions and more actions. So we can actually import items. So if you had an existing data set, you can easily bring these in through something like a CSV. You can export your data out to CSV if you want to send your data somewhere else. You can change some of the collection settings here and permissions of privacy. So you can control who can access what data. You can set up different roles all in Wix Studio. There's a ton that you can do. If you had a big team and you had like an admin person, perhaps, that only needs a certain look at the data, you could certainly set up those types of permissions so that they can only edit the data that they should be able to edit, or edit the fields that they should be able to edit. So there is a ton that you can do. Everything's really visual. Even if we go into one of these items, let's say project one, we can see everything really nicely here in this beautiful form. We can change all of the data if we would like. We can delete it. We can manage the field. We can even open a preview and see what this looks like on our actual site. And we'll get into that a little bit more, but you can go right into the preview right from the collection. So the collections are super powerful. You can have multiple collections, like I mentioned, that link together, or they can be completely independent. But if we click our collections here, we'll see we just have this one collection right now, which is our portfolio. So this was an intro to collections. You can use your own data if you're following along, or you can use the sample data here for the portfolio. Whichever you prefer is completely fine. But just know that collections are super flexible. They're easy to use. They're visual, and you can add as little or as much data as you want to collection. Now that we have our sample data in our portfolio site, we can actually X out of the CMS here and go to the editor. So if we're in the editor here, we've just landed on this portfolio page, but let me show you how to navigate your pages here in the editor. On the left bar, there's this icon. It's the third one down that says pages. So we'll see all the pages that have been pre-built for us in this wireframe template, like the home page, the work page, and the about page. But one thing that was created for us is the portfolio pages, and these are dynamic auto-generated from the content in our collections, which is super cool. The one that we're going to start on here is the portfolio all, which it is what it says it is. It shows all of the items in our portfolio. And again, this was created dynamically for us when we added the collection, which is super cool. We can, from the ellipsis menu here in this collection item, we can manage some of the settings, the SEO basics, we can rename it, we can add a new item, we can duplicate the layout. So there's a lot that we can do here right from this menu page, but let's go ahead and click on this portfolio page and see how it looks. So really nice looking out of the box. You can see all your portfolio items. This might be for like a photographer just based on this sample data, but you're going to get the idea of the different ways that you can lay this out and change things here. So everything is drag and drop and clickable. So if we click on my portfolio, we can just keep that here, and maybe we'll put some subtext here like my photo collection or something. Okay. Just to show you how easy it is to edit, you basically just click into whatever element you want to edit, and then you can just change the text. You could also come over here and change some of the settings, like you could make the text have a border, perhaps. You could make it wider. There's a lot that you could do, but we're going to go ahead and just keep this pretty basic right now. Next up, this is our actual portfolio, and this data is coming from a collection. And if we double click into this, we can actually click settings and see some of the settings here for this portfolio. And I just want to show you here, this blue line here that shows that it's connected to a CMS just shows that we've actually have this connected to our portfolio data set over here. If we had different data sets over here, we could actually just quickly change the data set that this is connected to, and it would instantly change to the new data set. So pretty cool. We can also change the connections. The way that this is set up is visual. So there's images here. So we have the image source connected to the product main images. We could change this to the gallery, but we want this to be the main image because we've decided that this is the image that best represents the gallery, if you will. So we're going to leave all these settings the same. I just want to show that you can easily manage your database connections right over here. So let's go back to settings. If we can go click on settings, this is where we get a nice flyout menu of some of the different settings that we can choose here for our portfolio. So if we go down to layout, check this out. There's a bunch of different presets here. So let's just say we want to, right now it's showing in the grid view, but let's just say we want to show a collage with images of all different sizes. We can do that really easily. We could also do like a slideshow with thumbnails. If we prefer this, that might look a little bit nicer. I'll probably have to expand this down. We could also do strips like this. It really depends on what type of portfolio you have and how you want to show it. But I think that there's mix, there's all these different things, but I think we're going to go ahead and choose collage here because this looks really nice. Moving down, we have some settings here. When you click on an item, link opens and we'll show you, it actually goes to the dynamic page. You can also change everything here from item, the text that would display potentially over the image, what happens whenever you hover over something. If you want the description to show, that could show as well. You can even go into advanced settings. If you have video, what happens when you hover, if it plays with sound, etc. So there's a ton that you can change here. But I think for our purposes, this looks really good. So let's go back here. This is starting to look really nice, and we are seeing our portfolio in a way that looks really good. So let's come back here and let's add some features to this. So one thing I want to show you is the way that you're able to animate things within Editor X very easily. So one thing that you can do is add interaction. Let's say we want to add a hover interaction to the My Portfolio text here so that if somebody hovers over it, they get some sort of interaction. We can actually just click on hover here. We can click add and we can click expand. So check this out. Let's go ahead in the upper right and click preview just to see how everything looks here. and our site's looking really good. If we hover over this, we'll see it expands just like that. We built an animation without having to map anything, not having to write any code, anything like that. And it's really subtle and it really looks good. As you can see, the text at the bottom already has a pre-built animation to fly in when we scroll down the page. So I'm going to show you how to add some of your portfolio items to your homepage of your site rather than just a gallery page on the dynamic page. So when you create a collection, it creates these dynamic pages for you. But what if you wanted to display some of your portfolio items on the main page or on any page of your site for that matter? We're going to show you how to do that here. Now, we still have the same homepage. I've deleted everything on this page except the header, a middle section, which is like our hero section or our main content section, and then the footer. What we want to do is we want to add a new section and then display some of the images from a portfolio on the homepage. So let's go ahead and do that. If we hover between the sections here, this blue button becomes exposed where we can add a new section. When we add a section, you can choose some pre-built layout options like these different grids, but we're going to stick with the blank grid here for the sake of example. Now that we have the section created, we can hit this plus button, which allows us to add an element to the page. And we're going to choose, just to keep it simple here, a gallery element. So we can show some of our portfolio items from our gallery right on our homepage. You could also add a repeater right into this page if you would like and show your repeater, which is essentially what we did on the dynamic page that was created automatically. But let's go ahead and choose gallery. We can add that in just now. Actually, I think we're going to add something different here. Oh no, we're going to use gallery. So here we go. So now that we have the gallery here, we can click this connect to CMS. And on the right here, we have our CMS databases exposed. Again, if we had multiple collections, we'd see them all here. So we're going to choose the portfolio data set. And now we want to choose what the image source connects to. We have a couple choices. We have the project main image and we have the project gallery. So just like before, we're going to choose the project main image. And we can now see here that we're showing our gallery. Now, if we click the settings of this, we can maybe change the layout here for this one. Maybe we want this to be a slideshow because we don't want to expose all of our gallery to the user. We want them to pan through and look at it one by one. So that's great. We can go ahead and do that. We can expand this out so it's a little bit bigger. We can make it smaller if we want. We can just see how this looks. Okay, let's do a preview. Okay, so we can see this is a preview of what this looks like. This is getting pushed together here, but we can easily pan through these images. Let's come back here. We can click, oh, 1 second. I was clicking too fast. We go back to edit site. Okay, we can come in here. We can adjust some of the settings. We can non-stretch the image, which might be nice. We can make it fixed. That looks good. We can see the image better. We can also make it the relative width. There's all kinds of different settings here that you can choose. We're going to expand this back open. We can actually add some padding here. Let's just say 25%. So we have actually 25 pixels, sorry. So we can add some padding between this. Awesome. This is starting to look better. And let's go back to the settings here. Go to advanced or go to settings. When clicking on an item, we can open in full screen. I think that would look nice. Okay, great. And we can also, there's some scroll settings here. Let's actually, it has a parallax. I think that was interfering. So let's turn off the parallax here. Let's go ahead and preview. Just see how this works. Okay, so we got our site scrolling. And if we click this, it will actually open in full screen as we instructed it to. Now, this is taking a second here, but this just loaded up. You can exit out of here. So really nice things that you're able to do with customizations for your gallery. Again, really whatever you prefer, whatever looks best for your specific use case will work. There's a ton of different settings here. We can come back here. We can go to the layout. We can do thumbnails, which actually might look really nice here so that a user could come to our site, look at the different thumbnails, click on this one, for instance, see that picture. I think this actually looks really nice. Everything is working as we intended. And I just want to show you some of the different layout options, how easy it was to add in the gallery to the homepage or any other page on your site. This is just scratching the surface of some of the things that you can do with Wix Studio. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment with any questions. Thanks so much.